giant panda, Muzi, was a highly skilled kung fu fighter and well educated in Dao Da, embodied in the Chinese philosophical teachings of Kung Fu. As a father, protector, and provider for his son, Li Yi, it was Muzi's moral duty to educate Li Yi in the virtues of Dao Da, as his teacher, Sifu, did before him, and uphold the teachings and moral ethical values of the art. The natural home and habitat of this panda family was located in the Valley of Peace, at an altitude about 2,000 meters in the dense mountain forests with dense bamboo and conifers in the Shanxi province, northwest of China. In the early hours before the dawn, 2 tiny pandas were born. The wife of Muzi, Shi Ning, delivered her babies. In the moment of life, there was death. One of the babies had died. Muzi stood next to his wife, frozen and speechless. How could this be? What sin have I committed for this curse that it's the tragic death of my baby? Tapping into the inner strength of peace and tranquility, he practiced the virtue of benevolence in love and harmony in combat of the self, for the release of resentment and nurturing acceptance within the harsh physical world of human existence. Si Ning suffered severe emotional distress and postnatal depression due to the death of one of her twins. Li Yi was born weighing only 140 grams, totally dependent on Mum for survival. The poor child suffered maternal detachment and rejection from Mum. The baby and mother relationship was estranged. Consequently, Li Yi was emotionally impaired in exploratory affiliation and wariness. There was a lack of proximity in the cognitive and psychological childhood development, and a sense of security in positive attachment. Dad, Muzi, did his best to care and nurture his son till he was independent and able to care for himself. Li Yi often grappled in darkness, struck with fear, ambiguity for trust, comfort, and safety, exposed to vulnerabilities of bullying and attacks as he struggled due to physical and emotional dependency on his depressed mother. Muzi trained with due diligence daily in the martial arts of Shaolin Kung Fu. During a harsh winter's day, a brutal and fierce fight erupted in the Valley of Peace among the young male pandas. Li Yi, being the weakest in body mass and in strength, compounded with emotional and cognitive impairment, was severely bullied by his stronger peers. With tears streaming down, his body badly bruised and bleeding, he broke down and ran for the comforts towards his heroic dad. "Dad, you must teach me martial arts. I am determined to be the mightiest and strongest kung fu fighter. I will fight to the death at all costs. For absolute victory, I will succeed as #1 kung fu fighter, winning every challenge with no defeat." Son, what is the purpose of learning kung fu? And more important, your understanding of the philosophical teachings in the art. Physical strength with the power of being invincible, for overcoming all external attacks, for protection and glory. In the movie Kung Fu Panda, what was the reason that upon opening the dragon scroll it was empty, with nothing but a blank, reflective surface? Dad, I don't have the answers. All I know and believe is Kung Fu represents power and strength. I want to be strong, invincible, where I can fight and uphold justice for self-defense and in protecting the weak. Is that wrong? Son, I will teach you Kung Fu, but first, like Po, you must respect, cultivate, and promise to honor the virtues and philosophy embodied in the art. Po had to prove himself worthy to receive the Dragon Scroll. The art and philosophy of Kung Fu is not measured by glory bestowed in the title of a #1 of worldly recognition. It is in the virtuous acts of endurance, humbleness, humility, respect, and trust in individuality towards promoting harmony and unity among nations and warriors. The glory is in the moment, in truth, of Hong Yang, kung fu warrior worthy of receiving the promise bestowed in the Dragon Scroll. Kung Fu was built on the philosophy of Wu Di: respect, humility, trust, virtue, and honor. All worthy Kung Fu fighters must uphold Hong Yang Jing Wu, meaning Kung Fu to be practiced and perfected for physical, emotional, and spiritual strength in virtue. We as Kung Fu warriors must honor our art and our ancestors by having the loyalty and commitment to train while simultaneously maintaining wisdom about our training. One day, amidst the clouds among the mountain tops and the training place of Li Yi, he heard from the distant cries of moaning and groaning. As he approached closer, he was shocked in disbelief. Trembling with fear, with bruises and blood, was his beloved mother. She was a victim of bullying and abuse by the other female pandas. Li Yi was totally devastated. How could this be? Why the injustice inflicted upon my mum? I must seek vengeance. Mum, tell me who did this to you. I swear on my grave I will seek justice on your behalf. At this very special moment, Si Ning lifted her head and whispered, Are you my son? In the moment of truth, mother and son hugged each other and burst out in tears. Li Yi helped Mum home for rest and recovery. He was fuming with anger and frustration in sharing the incident with his father. Mu Zi enlightened his son. Have you forgotten the teachings and philosophy of Wu Da? In your anger and bitterness, you must cultivate the spirit and honor balanced against the exploitation of human strength for motives in selfishness. It is not the victory at the end in symbol of a true Kung Fu warrior, but the struggle in thoughts and emotion along the journey of life and the challenges for inner peace in maintaining harmony and unity with the ecosystem we exist. I understand and respect your love as a filial son and protector of your mother. The love of a son and mighty and honorable Kung Fu warrior must be slow to anger, the ability to release resentment, harbor not in darkness, but prosper all in brightness, the ability to transform from the inner peace and harmony for divine forgiveness in the love for humanity and your enemies.